Okay, good morning. Can everybody hear me? Hopefully.
Yep.
So, welcome to the first webinar with Pete's. My name is Andy Blomley, which is the slide before. Everybody kind of knows me as Blommers. I run the pre-sales tech team within Omada, within TP-Link Omada. And my job is fundamentally to make your life easier. So I'm going to hand this over to Pete for there to do their introduction first, and then we will move over.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Good to have you all here. My name is Aaron. I'm the key account manager here for TP-Link. Here for TP-Link at Pete's. So we're an AV distributor with a long history of bringing reliable AV networking solutions to our customers across Ireland. We're delighted to team up today with our friends at TP-Link to explore all Omada has to offer. And yeah, our contact details will be at the end of the presentation if you wish to get in touch. But yeah, thanks for being here. Take it away, Blommers.
Thank you very much. So, Omada. Let's start with why we called it what we called it. Greek word for team. We want this to be your number one go-to when you're designing networks. It does very much improve the overall experience of building complicated networks. And these networks, we have Omada access points, Omada gateways. We also do a range of Omada optical solutions, which includes passive optical solutions, as well as GPON. GPON passive optical networks. Now these are designed for going a long distance. You can get 16 kilometers from the OLT and deliver lightning fast performance for fiber to the premises or within large buildings, or we seem to do a roaring trade in this in holiday parks. So this is a solution where you can install passive optical networks around a holiday park, for example, and you can go 16 kilometers from the endpoint, and you don't have to have any active devices apart from at the end where you want to deliver the network services. And we have a range of access points that deliver to that. We also have our traditional layer 2, layer 2 plus, and layer 3 switches, as well as a range of point-to-point solutions. So let's just talk about what a software-defined network is all about. So fundamentally, Omada is designed to simplify network deployments. Software-defined networking does a lot of the hard work for you. So if you want to deploy a single access point into a network, it's about the same work as deploying 500 access points into a network. If you want to put a number of switches in, you can adopt these all into the Omada controller, and you can configure them from one graphical user interface. If you want to add a VLAN, you don't now have to log into every single switch and painfully add that VLAN. You now create a VLAN template and push that template out to all the switches you've got connected. Likewise, if you want to set up an SSID, instead of having to enable that SSID in every single access point, you don't have to do that. Okay? Any access point that is adopted to that Omada controller will be configured by that Omada controller. And if that access points profile includes that SSID, it's automatically pushed out. We have many options to deliver this solution. So we have hardware controllers. So these are physical boxes which have the Omada software running inside them. And you install those, and we have scalable versions. So we have an OC200, an OC300, and an OC400, and they give you approximately 100 and then 200 devices for the OC300 and around 500 to 1,000 devices in the OC400. Now, these allow you to deploy very quickly, and if you plug them into your network, they will automatically find all the Omada devices. We also have two versions of our cloud solution. So we have our Armada Cloud Essentials. Now, that is a cloud solution that is free to log into, and you can add your devices forever and a day onto this free cloud solution. And that allows you to do rapid deployments using cloud, but it has a limited subset of the functionality that you get in the standard cloud that we charge a license for. Now, the standard cloud, it's generally what I use. That is a pay per device per year model. It works out at about 80 cents per month per device on that network. So it's a relatively cheap solution compared to the competitors, but everything is then done for you in the cloud. So all the software updates of the controller, all of the management, all of the backups, all of the security is then run by us, and we deliver that solution to you. The final option that we have is software controller. So we allow you to download our software and install that software onto a server. And once you've installed that software, you can then adopt APs onto that, and you can host that software in AWS. You can have that software running on a dedicated server within your office, or you can have the software, installed on a dedicated piece of hardware. We have people that run Omada software on a Raspberry Pi. If that is what you want to do, you can download it and deliver that and have that working. So just having a look at a range of our access points that we have. So we have the traditional ceiling mount APs here. And these APs are easily installed onto the ceiling. They give good coverage, and they have a directional antenna in them. So to avoid sorry, somebody was phoning me. To avoid having a situation where you have got your RF going into your ceiling and being wasted, we have what's called a ground plane on the back of our APs, which focuses the RF downwards and improves coverage from there. We also have wallplate APs. Now, wallplate APs were designed primarily for the hospitality marketplace. So these APs here are wallplate APs, and they're designed to sit behind a television, be installed maybe in a kitchen, okay, or in a student accommodation, etc. The unique functionality of these is, below these APs here is 3 ports, one of which is PoE. So what you're actually installing is a small switch onto the network at the endpoint, and you can set any of these ports to be PoE out. Sorry, any of these ports to be a VLAN, and one of the ports can be a PoE out. We also have a range of outdoor APs. So, this particular one is a Wi-Fi 7 AP. We also have some new high-capacity Wi-Fi 6 APs, and then we have a range of directional APs as well. Now, these are really useful if you're installing solutions into warehousing or structures that got very high ceilings, or you want RF to go that little bit further, and you can have 2 or 3 of these APs together to, in case of the D30s, the D120s, you can have 3 of them together to have your 360 degrees and obviously improve your coverage distance. As I was covering off earlier, we also have a range of GPON APs. So these are designed for our passive optical solutions and can be installed very quickly and easily. And the unique purpose of these is the GPON GP wall actually has mains power in onto that, as well as PoE out. And then we have a desktop version as well. The desktop version has just a standard power supply that you plug into the wall. Finally, we'll just cover off, we have wireless bridges. So the idea of a wireless bridge is to link two buildings together over a set distance. And as you can see, we have two versions of this. We have the first version that gives up to about 1 kilometer, and the second version is up to 5 kilometers. Now, when you're doing this thing, they are pure line of sight. So anything in the way will deteriorate the performance. And obviously, the further you go, the less throughput you're going to have on the solution. If we're looking at where we can deliver our connectivity now using our range of outdoor APs and directional APs, we have solutions for parks, stadiums, pop-up events. We do an awful lot of pop-up events, and my team are very good at supporting those events. And as well as things like airports, any stadiums, that sort of thing, we can deliver solutions to that. And we have some, cases that we can actually share with you if you're interested in this. One area that we are finding rapid growth in is our multi-gig range of switches. Now, one thing that we now support and deliver is high-speed data over Cat5e beyond 1 gig. So this is where people have got existing infrastructure, they have got Cat5e into place, they might have Cat6, they're exceeding their 1 gig, they want to go up to a faster speed. We have a range of both 2.5 gig and 5 and 10 gig switches that we can offer, and that can deliver high speed down existing Cat5e cables. And what we're seeing here is if you want to go to 2.5 gig, that will run, up to the 90 meters on a Cat5e cable without any problems whatsoever. If you want to go faster than that, if you want to go to a 10 gig solution, you're really going to have to go to a Cat6 cable for 10 gig, and that's limited to 50 meters. And if you want to go up to the 400 meters, you do have to go up to Cat6A for delivery of that. But we are seeing a large increase in the sales of these switches. So very interesting market. And moving on to switches in general, we have a range of our layer 3, full layer 3, our layer 3 light. So both of these switches will support OSPF. The full layer 3 will also support BGP. We have the ability to stack. So if you want to join these switches to make a virtual switch, in the full layer 3, you can use 8 units stacked. In the layer 3 light, you can do 4. If you don't require layer 3 services in the terms of OSPF, etc., we can then move you to the layer 2 plus switches. You can still do static routing, but we don't have the support for dynamic routing protocols. We also have a range of pure L2 access switches as well. And then we have the agile range of switches. Now, the agile range of switches is designed very much at the low end of the market in terms of the price point. It's just slightly more expensive than an unmanaged switch, but it gives you a lot of functionality above an unmanaged switch. So the ability to do PoE recovery, be able to do cable test, all of these functionalities built into the agile range. We also have an industrial range of switches as well. Now, these are DIN railed switches, okay? They are IP40 rated. They will go down to -40 and +75. Now, the important thing is it does this completely without fans. So these are designed to work in harsh environments using passive cooling, so very ruggedized switches. They're also designed to go into high vibration environments. So, anything on the board is made sure that it can deal with the high vibration requirements. Looking at some of our VPN gateway options, and if I look at the, our top of the range switches, which is the ER8411, this is a 10 gig switch, very, very impressive, especially at the price point of it. Designed for large enterprise, really nicely engineered with dual power supplies. Then we move down to our multi-gig range. These are 2.5 gig switches. Again, very impressive in the performance of these switches and capabilities, and allows you to offer connectivity to faster internet services. I myself have a 1.3 gig service supplied by Virgin. I can actually upgrade that to either 2 gig or 5 gig now where I live, making my 8411 a very interesting proposition. I don't need it at the moment, and my 18-year-old son is very upset about that, but we'll move on. We also have a range of 1 gig switches. So the ER7206 is a 1 gig switch, okay? And we have a range of DSL switches as well going forward. And something that we're seeing a massive increase in is the requirement for people to have 4G and even 5G solutions with our switch portfolio. So we have the ER706W 4G. We also do a power version of this, and this has an integrated 4G modem built into this, has 2 SIM slots into it, and allows you to combine both the 4G and if you have got other services like a fiber presence, etc., for rapid deployment, or the fact you just want a backup solution. We also do an outdoor version of the 4G unit. Now that will sit outdoors. It will also be powered by PoE and has PoE out, and allows you really to do rapid deployment outside where you've got mobile signal. And then we've got our top of the range, the ER7015G. Now that's a really impressive bit of kit. It allows you to connect to the 5G network from outside. It's fully powered by a 2.5 gig connection going into it. And I've had this one up and running in my house and been testing it and running at speeds of, up to 900 meg download and 250 meg upload. So a really impressive bit of kit. We also have some of the entry levels here. So this is the ER0605 and the 605W. So these are our entry layer gateways. Now they still support VLANing, they still support deep packet inspection, but because of the size of the processor in there, the number of users that we put on these is, realistically under 10 users onto those solutions. As I talked earlier, we have the bridge kits. So this is a slide to overview some of our point-to-point and point-to-multipoint solutions. Like I said, up to 5 kilometers with these solutions, and we have different technologies depending on how you want to operate these. They always come prepared, but if you want to have a multi-point solution, so point to multi-point, what you can do is actually convert any of these devices to a client. So you can buy a number of those devices, and you can mix and match the solutions as well. So depending on your requirements, you can join these units together. And if you require some assistance on that, or indeed an outdoor design, okay, please come and engage with my team and we will help you with this. So I'm now going to look at some of the Omada applications that you can actually run on our solution. So you know, with Omada, it's a brand on top, okay? But we have our Omada software controller, the hardware controller, and the cloud solutions, and then we add some apps and tools onto this. So we've already covered off Omada, and that's what we've been speaking to there. But we have Guard. Now, Guard is our CCTV solution and integrates into this, and it's something that I will be demonstrating later on in this presentation. But we also have the option of Navi as well. Now, this is a really nice tool that you can download, and it will help you run your solution and test your solution when you've built it. And then we have the Design Hub and the configuration tools. So the Design Hub allows you to upload building plans and place APs and see what your signal quality is going to be like in the environment. And the configuration tool here, basically you put in your requirements and it will spit out the right equipment for you. And from there, we have this complete one-stop solution going forward. So the next slide I'm going to have is a little video. So we should be able to, hopefully this is going to work. There we are. So, this is something that I would definitely recommend downloading for your device. I use it on a daily basis, not only in solving problems with the Omada networks, but also solving problems with other people's networks. We do get involved in that. And it's a very, very nice tool to have on your device and to very quickly get out and have a look. Covering off the Omada Design Hub. So we have the ability within the Omada Design Hub, which is free for you to use, to upload a file, a building plan. It will automatically draw the walls in for you. If you ask it nicely, it will also place the APs as well. It will give you approximations for running your cables. It will create a Wi-Fi heat map, and it will also show you how everything is put together in terms of your topology. And this is how everything kind of puts together, okay? And you'll end up at the end with a very nice little list of all of the equipment that you need. Oh, I've gone back. There we are. Okay, that's what I need. There we are. Okay, and you can export that list as well. Okay, if you require help on using this, don't hesitate to give us a call. We're more than happy to work with you on this solution. And if you have bigger designs that you require us to look at, when we say bigger, above 20 APs, we're more than happy to work with you in designing that solution as well. Now, I very quickly talked about Omada Guard. So Omada Guard is the ability to combine our surveillance solution into the Omada solution itself. It gives you this additional layer and allows you to show what is going on in your network and to manage the surveillance part of it. Now, to our mind, this is a really key improvement. So having visibility to the network is great, but being able to treat surveillance devices as network devices is key. And this means that we have the ability to automatically update these devices. I don't need to visit sites. If I've got a problem with one of those devices, it's going to tell me. I've got the ability to, if a device stops working, for example, it stops sending data, that device will automatically work in terms of I'll do a PoE recovery. So I will look at that device. I say it hasn't worked for the last 5 minutes. It hasn't responded to ICMP ping. What am I going to do? Well, I'm going to send a message to the switch and ask it to power cycle the PoE on that and bring that device up. And that works not only for Omada devices, but also third-party devices. And indeed, if you put an Omada DVR into the solution, what you will find is that you can actually add these third party using OmViv and allow you to actually connect to those. Okay. No, it's definitely Navi is definitely on the App Store. I promise you. Okay. We'll send out a link for you anyway. Okay. So Omada Central allows you, as I said, to manage the Omada gateways, manage the Omada switches, access points. But this is where it gets interesting. We're now able to manage the VG and third-party cameras. We're allowed to manage our NVRs, and we're also able to manage the VG solar power systems as well. So if you want to install our solar solutions and see the rate of charge and discharge on this, see how they are working, etc., you can add this to the whole solution. Finally, as I said, we've got our GPON OLT and the Omada GPON APs as well, and we can go from there. Okay. So this is my, the people that I work with. So we have in the sales department, we have Eddie Power and Chris Buchanan, and both of them will happily be able to take your orders. And then from my team is Danny Marsh and Dan Strong. The two Dans are very happy to work with you on your, on working on your solutions and going from there. And also Dan Strong and Daniel Marsh will be delivering the OCNA training as well. And we have two training courses now within the OCNA. We have the OCNA wireless training, but we also have OCNA switching and router training as well. So we can go from there. I am now finished. So if I can hand you over to Pete, that would be great.
Thanks, Andrew. Very informative. Thanks everyone for joining us. If anyone wishes to get in touch, again, my name is Aaron Keogh. Always available for a chat if you want to talk anything Omada. Our contact details are there on screen. And yeah, have a good day. Thanks very much.